Hey everybody! Is that on the highest? I mean on the lowest setting?
You can leave my fan alone. Like,
It's
ain't no
just
way we're gonna be
loud.
able to do this up in here with the windows closed.
This loud.
No,
It's just
doors
loud.
closed, no circulation, and fan off. I don't think so, bruh.
It's just loud.
It's not though.
If you can hear the fan in the recording, I apologize.
Best part ain't even gonna be in the show.
I apologize. Alright, you ready? Alright, let's do this. Welcome back everybody to the channel. Moving up with the Miclettes.
Moving on up.
Yeah. And today we are talking about 5 tips on how to save money. That's right. And we have the very special guest, the Miclette CFO, the Miclette CEO, the Miclette accountant here with us today to give us these tips. And I'm going to let her take the lead on this, but I will definitely be interjecting. So,
Okay.
so I want to introduce to you all the CFO, the CEO, the CMO, and anything else that deals with leadership in the corporation, the one and only Mrs. Sherri Miclette.
Thank you very much. So the first tip that we have is budgeting. And I know everyone is tired of hearing, oh, I need to budget. I hate budgeting. I can never stick to a budget, can never follow a budget. But honestly, if there is no budget, then you don't know what money's coming in. You don't know what money's going out. You can't see how much you're spending on certain items constantly, which is, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, is the reason why. So the first step is budgeting and allocating certain allowances for certain things. So, if there's something you want to do, put that in the budget. It's your money, so you have the control of, deciding what you want to do with it. Now, with budgeting comes decisions. So, do you decide, oh, I want to buy these $600 Jimmy Choo shoes?
Jimmy who?
Yeah. Or am I going to put this towards savings, or am I going to put, spend only $200 of this on groceries, or whatever the case. But the key really is budgeting. It doesn't matter how much money you have, but if you're not budgeting, then your money's just going to go.
Now, how often do you find yourself re-budgeting? How often do you go back to the budget and reorganizing and resituating that budget?
I'm actually kind of like obsessed.
Yeah.
I'm kind of obsessed with like budgeting. So every time I spend something, even though I've already allocated it out, like I'll go back and check our accounts, because I check our accounts every day.
Mm-hmm. Every day. And
I'll go back through and just redo my calculations, be like, okay, we're on task and everything is good. But it's up to you. If you, whatever method you want to use in regards to your budgeting. We've done the envelope method,
Mm-hmm.
Which really helped us in regards to certain aspects like groceries and gas, and family spending. And
we still do use the envelope method.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that has been very, very helpful for us. And being the fact that you are a very good budgeter, having those envelopes made it a tangible, something tangible for me. You know what I mean? Because I've never been a good budgeter. A lot of my budgeting was done up here, and it never actually translated to paper. And so actually seeing the lists, seeing the budget, and having the envelopes really helped me out, because then it took something that was just in my mind to actually something that I could see.
Yeah. And also, with budgeting, budget according to how you're paid. So at the beginning of the month, we have our calendar, and I'll go through and write down the bills that I have, and then I'll write down my paydays. With him, he's paid once a month. I'm paid, every other week. So he pays, like the big bill, like the mortgage, and I'll come through and pay like all the other stuff that we have. So according to my pay periods, so I'll pay I'll pay PG&E and, groceries and, my allowance out of this paycheck. And then the second paycheck, I'll pay, AT&T and, our insurance bill, in the second paycheck. So just, it makes it so much easier, so you can decide like, okay, at the beginning of the month, I need to roll over like $200 to help cover all the bills in, at the end of the month. So just budgeting according to your pay periods helps tremendously.
That's a bonus tip right
Yeah.
there. Which brings us to tip number 2, using cash. And going back to the envelope method that I just alluded to, or that you just alluded to, using cash is a major way of saving money. I personally can attest to the fact that using a debit card was a huge habit of mine. Knowing that I had money in my account, knowing that I was good for it, ended up putting me in a situation that I ended up not being good for it.
Yes.
And it got me into some trouble, right? It got me into some trouble with my CFO.
Yeah,
So
there was a couple times, I would check the account and be like, why did you just spend $30 on this? You had like $25 in your account.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, really?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
since he doesn't check the account, I literally give him an update, every day, like, you can pay this, and this. Don't spend any more money out of your account, blah, blah, blah.
Yep. And that's, again, going back to a marriage being a team effort, right? So she's a great teammate on top of the fact that she's a great budgeter. And it's not as if, it's a situation where your spouse is looking over your shoulder. It's the fact that you're part of the same team, right? You are part of the same team. Your last name is your corporation.
Yeah.
And you have to really treat your finances as if you're running a business, right? Your last name is your business. Your family is your business. And so for many, many years,
Good, babe.
well, I got that from somewhere else. What was I going to say? Damn, I forgot what I was going to say. Getting back to using cash, right? Using the envelope method. If that's going to be how you start using allocated cash only for your spending, then that's what you're going to have to do. Because you're almost going to have to forget that your debit card exists, right? And only allow yourself to use cash.
Exactly.
And you're going to find that by the end of the month, you're going to have a lot more money left over in your account. And it's going to be like magic, right? So using cash is huge. And it's gotten to the point where, and I even shared this with you, I feel kind of Scrooge-ish. I've been feeling a little Scrooge-ish. You can call it being Scrooge-ish. You can call it being frugal. You can call it being cheap. But I'm at the point where now, at least over the last 6 months, since COVID has been around, I want to spend even less. I don't even feel like spending money anymore. And
I mean, granted, we can't go nowhere anyway, but
which is true. But I feel like I don't even feel like spending money. Like there's no need, you know. So going out to eat, ordering food, I'd rather save those $20 and just cook at home.
Yeah. So next tip, number 3, that would be trying to save money automatically. So when you get paid, if there's, some way for you to either go to your HR department and have them set up, a transfer that will go directly into your savings account. Make sure it's a separate account than your normal checking or your normal savings that you look into every day. Having them send that money directly to that account so you don't even see it. Out of sight, out of mind. Kind of just like with your 401k or your employer paid plans. They take that money out before you even get your check. So you don't even see it and you don't touch it. So that is definitely a big tip and a good useful tip to do if you're trying to save money or if you have a goal like, I want to, reach $20,000 by the end of the year. Just moving that money over. But since, I'm the one that kind of transfers the money at the beginning of the month, I actually get satisfaction from transferring, like that big amount of money to our emergency fund or to our savings or to our sinking funds.
It's the little things that make you happy.
I'm like,
just
what?
those little things.
What? Yes. And so, I get to see it every day, but that's just me. I'm just kind of weird when it comes to finances.
But it's funny, right? Because you almost have to become obsessive about that, right? And it is a little bit of a weird obsession. It is a bit of a weird obsession. A ver, cierra la puerta.
Anywho.
Pardon the interruption. That's what happens when you have 3 kids and you're trying to create a YouTube channel. They want to eat cake. They want some chocolate cake. So,
yeah.
Our
See,
apologies.
saving money. I was making cake at home.
Yeah, why go out and buy it? Right? Make it yourself.
Exactly. So, what was you talking about?
We were talking about automatically
Saving.
automatic savings.
Mm-hmm.
You done talking about that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Item number 4. Item number 4 is allowances. And this, again, kind of bleeds from the cash, using cash and budgeting. It's all interrelated, right? But using, or not using, what's it called? Having cash allowances or having an allowance has really helped us, because before we gave ourselves allowances, we were just spending, right? And again, when you combine that with using your debit card or using your credit cards, when you don't provide yourself an allowance and really stick to that budget, you're going to just end up spending and spending and spending and thinking that you have money that you really don't have. And allowing yourself only a certain amount of money to spend is a great way to really reinforce that budget and sticking to it. For example, allowing yourself $100 a month or $150 a month for spending for yourself. So like Sherri said, if you want to go and buy those Jimmy Choo shoes and they're $600, but you only have $150 of play money for that month, then those Jimmy Choo shoes are going to have to wait for somebody else to take them off the rack. You may have to buy some Converse. And ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But you're going to have to make a choice. Do you really want that pair of shoes right now, or can you wait, right? Having allowances for yourself and sticking to them, holding yourself accountable, is going to contribute to being successful in your budgeting. And if you can make those cash allowances only, and you got to be real disciplined. You have to be real disciplined. Then you're going to find some success. You're going to find yourself at the end of the month with money left over. And if you're frugal about it, you might end up at the end of the month with a lot more money to roll over to the next month. And you might actually find yourself the next month putting money back in or taking out less, right? And so I can say that that's something that has definitely helped us with the allowances, is that you start recognizing that your habits change, being able to use that money for things that you really, really, really want is helpful.
Yeah. And I noticed with my allowance, like, I'll kind of write out the things that either, I want, like small things like, that I buy on Amazon or whatever. But if I don't have enough, then I'll be like, I'll put that on the list for next month. So, just writing that small list and being like, okay, this is all the money that I have. I'm basically out of money. I want to have at least something in my pockets to, the end of the month. So I'll just roll that over and get that next month. Yeah. If it's not, food or shelter, at this point, it's not a necessity. So you can always wait.
And that's something that I noticed that with me, really with us. Yeah. We weren't buying a lot of stuff for ourselves. It's not like I was going out and buying a brand new table saw. I wasn't going out and buying new Jordans every month. I don't even hardly buy clothes. Like, the only time I ever buy clothes for myself is maybe before school year starts to have a couple brand new shirts to wear for the school year, and that's about it. And then we noticed that the most that we were actually spending on was entertainment or food.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yeah. And so now we've actually, the whole food thing, it's every other week. So we'll get get something from a restaurant, but that's actually coming out of our allowance. So it's not like, but that's something you could potentially budget into your budget. So if you want to be eating out, but once again, if you want a food, to be able to, I want to go out and get takeout or whatever, a couple times a month, budget that in. Yeah. So at least if you have that, pull that cash out, put it in an envelope, so you could be like, I'm just going to run and grab us some burritos, So
a lot of discipline.
Yes.
A lot of discipline, and it's one of those things where if you really, really want it, you're going to make it happen, and if having financial independence is something that you really want for yourself, you really want for your family, you're going to find a way to make it happen.
Yeah. And the final tip we have, tip number 5.
Number 5
is trying to limit your credit card use. Not to say not to use your credit cards ever, because if, as long as you paying the full balance off every month, you can use your credit card whenever you want to. But trying to keep a minimal balance on there, purchase something small and then pay it off. But, trying not to utilize your credit cards as much as possible. If you're in the situation where you actually have a lot of credit card debt, maybe try looking for, a 0% transfer balance. I know for a while I was seeing, online, they were just promoting that, no interest for a year and a half. So, if you're in the situation where you have a lot of credit card debt, and the interest is kicking your butt, maybe find a 0%, balance transfer credit card. That might help you substantially in regards to just being able to pay it off quickly with no interest. But we've cut down on our credit card usage a lot since we've paid off, over $32,000 in consumer debt. Now it's just we put something on our credit card and immediately it's either paid off or at the end of the month the whole balance is paid off. So I don't want to pay any more interest on credit cards.
None. And to your point, right? Like if you do buy something with a credit card, say you have to buy, for example, we just bought a shade for our kitchen, right? We've been in this house for over 10 years, and our kitchen faces the direction that the sun sets. So for the last 10 years, we can be cooking dinner in the kitchen, and we are the ones cooking, and the sun is just baking in the kitchen. It's hot, and we're getting blinded by the light. And even our kids could be sitting at the table and they're doing all this and this because they can't see nothing. And we just finally got it, right? We just finally bought it and put it up today, but we paid for it with a credit card. However, we had the money. So yes, we put it on a credit card, but that next day, literally, it was paid for, right? And so not only does that bring your balance to a zero balance, but it also does not give the interest an opportunity to accumulate, right? And so if you have things that are automatically being paid for each month on a credit card, obviously that's going to be there. You got to zero that out. But once you make some purchases here and there for $100, $200, or $500, if you've got a big expense, now you got to add that to the list of interests that is going to be added on top of your regular monthly purchase for a subscription, whether it's Amazon or iTunes or Spotify. If you have all that already on your credit card purchase per month regularly, and you start adding hundreds of dollars, now you got to start looking at ways of paying all of that off before your interest kicks in, right? And that's really where we get caught in some trouble,
Exactly.
Yeah. So we just want to remind you again, we are not financial advisors. We are not CPAs. We are not
any of that.
Any of that. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what that other financial thing was. Any last words?
Hopefully you enjoyed the content. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up. And
we'll see you on the next video. I think we'll have to do a part 2.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, so we'll do a how to save money tips part 2 on another time, and yeah.
Thank you for joining us, and hopefully you'll continue to move on up with the Miclettes.
There you go. We'll check you out next time, y'all. All right. Your lips do look popping. Your makeup looks shiny. Looks bright, and shiny, and shimmery. Shimmering, shiny.
Light.
Welcome back,
to the channel.
All right, here we go. Ready?
What are we saying before we do
Welcome
it?
back to the channel.
Oh, okay.
Welcome back to the channel. Is it bad lighting? Is it bad lighting or good lighting? I don't know.
What are you looking at?
I was trying to look at you.
Yet as you bent down, you completely blocked me out.
I know. How do you feel about the lighting? You alright? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
And 2. Welcome back, everybody. Blah, 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 blah. And 3, 2, and... I thought you locked the door. You're supposed to lock the door.
I
Ve,
didn't go
cierra
out
la...
the door. You closed the door.
No, you don't open the door.
I was in
Cierra
the
la
bathroom.
puerta.
You came in this way.
Gracias. Huh?
Not yet.
Okay, so you have to wait. Okay? Close the door. Let us finish this video and then we'll make some cake. We'll cut some cake.
It has to cool down. I have to frost it.